was to create Squid Game, here's how it would look. But before we create the games, we have to pick the location. We know Squid Game takes place in South Korea, so we have to pick a location outside of Asia. Then that leaves us with no choice. Let's take it to New York. First game's gonna be musical chairs, as we still need to get rid of a lot of players. And for the second game, we'll keep it simple with the eating contest because it's America. But now we need a team game, which dodgeball is the best choice. Instead of regular dodgeball, some will have knives attached and some will have bombs. Game 4, they'll play Simon Says, where if you make the wrong move, the floor will collapse beneath you. With only 2 games left, do the contestants choose to cancel the games? Of course not, it's America. The 5th game is going to be the Fitness Grand Pacer test, and good luck with this one. But that leaves us with one last game, and you've probably been wondering something this whole time. Who's the front man? But for the last game, the 2 contestants will have to sit there and watch the entire Italian brain rot lore without losing their minds. If you put me into Squid Game Season 3, this is how I would survive. First game, hide and seek, which is pretty easy. If I'm a seeker, I'll just get a knife and kill one of the hiders who will be panicking. If I'm a hider, I'll just be like the shaman lady and try to kill everybody. Second game, jump rope. All I would do is just make sure that I would be the first one to go, and as people are coming, I will try to push them down. And of course, Gi-hun and the baby would be safe because they're just plot armor. And in Sky Squid Game, what I would do is team up with Gi-hun, which would probably force the father of the baby to try to team up with us. And once he does that, now we got him where we want him, because in the second round, we'll press the button without him looking, and we'll both push him at the same time for an epic little movie scene where he's falling down. And in the last round, of course, Gi-hun wouldn't want the baby to die, so I'd be like, hey man, let's just both go together. And as we try to go together, I would hit him with the nastiest reversal of all time, and he would fall down, and I would be alone with the baby, and I'm kicking the baby off! Imagine if Squid Game was played by the Italian brain rot characters. Red light, green light would be easy for people like Tralalero Tralala and Tun Tun Sahur. Unlike Frigo Camelo and Assassino Cappuccino. By the way, the front man is Burr Patapim. And Mingle, unfortunately, will lose Spinero Bolubiro and Ballerina Cappuccino, as they're just too small. But at nighttime, things get really crazy because everyone's upset about Ballerina Cappuccino going. Bombardio, Crocodile, and Tralalero Tralala get into it. But literally, Laralad is the unfortunate one who doesn't make it out. Everything calms down after that, and we get back to the game. Jump rope, we took a couple hits with Chimpanzini, Bananini, and Boneca Amalabu. And in the final game, things start to heat up as there's only 4 characters left. Round 1 starts, and Sahur just whacks Trippy Troppy with his baseball bat. Round 2, Tralalero Tralala tries his best, but Bombardio Crocodilo blows him up. And in the final round, we'd have Tun Tun Sahur and Bombardio Crocodilo. Who do you guys think would win? Here's how I'd win Squid Game Season 3. Now, I understand everybody has their videos, but here's the difference. I'm black! Hide and seek. I will be the seeker. You know why? It's my right, and they're not gonna go against that, unless they want to deal with a hate crime. Jump rope, I just told you guys earlier. I'm black. This is gonna be the easiest thing in my life. I have the God-given abilities of LeBron James. I'm gonna jump this thing, and I'm gonna go first. And in Sky Squid Game, are you serious? First round, everyone was being so hesitant. I'm just pushing somebody off. Second round, pressing the button, pushing somebody off. Third round, if you got a problem with me, I'm calling the US military. And then, you don't want to go down that route. I just realized I never made a video explaining how I'd beat Squid Game Season 2, but I do have a secret weapon. Do I even need to say it again? I'm black! Red light, green light, I just take off at the start. Trust me, I'll make it before red light. Pentathlon is tricky because it's a team game, but you know what they say, once you go black, you never go back. Mingle, I just know I'm staying as far away as possible from player 1 and I'm surviving. When the lights go out, I'ma just hide my ass in the corner. Easy work. But when they revolt, I can tell you one thing for 2 and 2 things for certain. I will not be revolting with them, and I will be laying my ass down in bed. Good night. Everyone talks about Squid Game, but nobody talks about what would have happened if Gi-hun never returned. Let me explain. We all know Gi-hun won the Squid Games in Season 1, but nobody talks about him willingly going back. Gi-hun was supposed to get on a plane to see his daughter, and he chose not to when he seen the Squid Game recruiter. Just what would have happened if Gi-hun did get on that plane? Let me explain. Gi-hun would have got off that plane and immediately seen a casino inside of the airport, because that's just how America works. And instantly, he would have reverted back to his old habits, spent all of his money, and here comes the Squid Game America recruiter. Now Gi-hun is stuck playing Squid Game America with farmers, countrymen, random crackheads, and black dudes. Then the first game will be the pacer test, and Gi-hun would die because he's just not athletic enough to compete with these black dudes. Italian brain rot in Squid Game seems to be a big hit, so let's do it again. But this time, the Squid Game players are gonna play Italian brain rot. First game is with Ballerina Cappuccino, and the players are gonna have to make designs inside of their cappuccino. By the way, instead of players getting eliminated, they will be canceled. The next game is a rap battle with Burr Patapim. Watch out for player 7, he might actually be good in this one. Next up is a race with tralalero tralala, but things will get harder at this point as players will start to get eliminated now. The best way to start that off is with a familiar game, red light, green light, but instead, Bombardillo Crocodillo is going to be the one shooting bombs at you. Then you gotta play avoid the tire with Boneca Ambalabu, and while you're avoiding tires, you're going to be on the jump rope. And if you thought that was the hardest game, trust me, it gets even harder. With the final game and the most gruesome of them all, players will have to survive furious baseball swings from no other than Toon Toon Sahur. Which Squid Game players do you think would make it past each game, and who do you think would win? Whoever has the best comment wins my heart. Ranking the best Squid Game locations. America is an easy A tier, especially after all the teasers that they've been given about Squid Game USA. But I would be a sneaky B tier, as you always hear about all the money they have in Dubai, but you never hear about the people without money. But the worst location for a Squid Game would have to be the United Kingdom, as their food is terrible, the accents are horrible, and their teeth are disgusting. Jamaica would be fun. You'd probably have to change the title from Squid Game to Spliff Game, C tier. India would probably be cool, but I couldn't see them having any real punishment over there, so D tier. But if you want the most action, if you want the most crime, if you want the most war, then you gotta take Squid Game. Ranking Squid Game characters based off of how much I would trust them. Song-woo, obvious F tier because he just seemed very snaky. Unlike the grandma, who's an A tier because she was always trying to help everyone in the show no matter what. Ali, I'm putting in S tier because this character arc was just one of the best in the show. The frontman, D tier, because after I saw him in merry-go-round, he would have had to go. I wouldn't have trusted him anymore. Gi-hun, depending on the season, was either an A or an F because if it was season 1, he was very shady, but if it was season 2 and 3, he wanted nothing but the best for the team. Thanos, S tier, he was there for pure vibes and he was the best character on the show. Unlike Player 100, who's an F because he's a stupid fat doo-doo dunderhead. Sabio. Ranking Squid Games on how easily I could beat them with my eyes closed. In red light, green light, I would just use my ears and go first because it's the easiest game to play in the world. S tier. Jump rope, as long as my foot isn't broken, I'll probably make it across the other side. Just kidding, no I won't. F tier. Hide and seek, just give me a knife, I'll do spinorama and kill somebody. A tier. Merry-go-round, it'll definitely be hard to find a room after all the spinning. C tier. Tug of war, as long as I use my strength of the gods and my will of an American. B tier. But in marbles, I'm probably cooked because someone like Gi-hun would take advantage of me like he did with the old man, and he would probably just take the marbles away from me. D tier. What would you guys rank some of these games on? Squid Game USA was basically confirmed, so here's how I would create the game. Game number 1 would still be red light, green light, as it's a great way to build off the anticipation of what's to come. Game number 2 would be what time is it, Mr. Fox? In this classic American game, contestants would have to take the amount of steps that follow the clock, and if they move or do not take the right amount of steps, they will be eliminated. Game number 3 will be a classic game of tag, where half the contestants will be taggers and the other half will be runners. The losing players from each side will be eliminated. Game 4 will be duck, duck, goose, and with not that many contestants left, this will be the game that solidifies how many contestants make it to the final game. And with the final 4 contestants, they will play a game of Foursquare, where they have to try their absolute hardest to not let the ball hit their square. Or a hot dog eating contest in typical American fashion.